Good morning and welcome to a Friday. It's January 17th at 6:07 here in western Iowa, where the temperature is 30 degrees, which is rather warm for this time of year, but don't get used to it. We have some very cold air that's coming today, starting this afternoon, evening, and it's going to barrel south and then east in a hurry. And we have some really interesting weather coming right down to the Gulf Coast. We're talking snow for Houston and New Orleans if our computer models verify. So let's get into it. This is kind of crazy. Here's your snow depth across the country this morning. Hanging on to the snow, Kansas, Missouri, through the Midwest into the Ohio Valley. They've had big dumps of snow for the eastern Great Lakes especially, but all the Great Lakes have been active and still hanging on to that snow in the northern Rockies, central Rockies, of course, and into the northern plains. Here's how it could look in a few days. This is midnight Wednesday of next week. Do you see it? Oh my goodness. Waco, Austin, just north of Houston, into New Orleans, across Biloxi, Mississippi, Jackson, all the way down into southern Georgia, even Myrtle Beach, right, into North Carolina. So this is the GFS model ending Wednesday at midnight. Now let's check out the European. Pretty similar, wouldn't you say? Houston with snow, New Orleans with snow, Jackson, Mississippi, across the South Florida Panhandle, Myrtle Beach into North Carolina. Just kind of crazy. How about the ice? Well, ice, Myrtle Beach. Parts of Georgia, Florida Panhandle, southern Louisiana, central Texas. How about the European on the ice? A little bit more for Texas and a lot more for the Florida Panhandle up to Myrtle Beach. So this is crazy. Both models are in really good agreement now. Now we'll see if they have consistency run to run with this southern solution. So it's not etched in stone yet, but something to keep in mind. This could happen. What about the cold? January 21st lows, as we've been showing you. Freezing temperatures all the way through San Antonio into the Florida Panhandle, from Portland to Portland, and really cold, Midwest, Northern Plains, even into New England, the interior New England, single digits or even single digits below, and 25 below zero in Minot. Actual air temperature, not the wind chill. Wind chills will be colder than this. What does the European show? Colder. So, depending on which solution verifies or if we end up somewhere in between. The European has 20s all the way almost down into Corpus Christi and through Louisiana. So just, cold solutions either way. So we get some Arctic air coming, and it's going to be felt across almost the entire nation. You might want to flee to Miami if you like it warm. Hazards for today. Well, here comes the cold air, and with that, some wind in the Dakotas, and maybe a little bit of snow up there, North Dakota into Minnesota. Also interesting, as that cold front barrels south along the eastern slope of the Rockies, we could see snow squalls, which are going to be quick bursts of snow that's going to reduce visibilities, and probably a little bit of snow with that too, obviously. But winter weather advisories again along the eastern slopes of the Rockies, and a winter storm warning there for northeastern New Mexico, and wind issues all the way down into West Texas. Nothing new for you for wind into southeastern New Mexico, and some of that's high wind warning when you get down into Eddy County, the Sacramento Mountains, and down into the Guadalupe Mountains of far west Texas. So it's quite a bit of wind there. Also, high wind warnings up in Montana, so along with winter weather advisories. Current temperatures out there, kind of warm. We've been warming up ahead of the cold front. We got to 42 yesterday or something crazy, and it should be mid 40s here in western Iowa before the cold fronts barrel through, and tomorrow morning we get down to like 7 or something. So, but it's pretty warm this morning compared to what it should be. I mean, again, our temperature is 30 and our average high is like 30. I think it's like 30. So we're right at our average high for our low this morning. Hanging on to the cold up there in New England, where it is warming up before it's going to cool off a lot. So here's your surface today. So thunderstorms, showers, southeast, maybe a little bit of ice, Virginia, West Virginia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. So a little bit warmer moving into the Great Lakes, so rain or snow. Or mix, but you see the cold front through Minnesota and New England. That's our New England, Nebraska. That's the wind shift. Some cooler air behind that. The cold air is North Dakota, Montana, and that's going to barrel very fast right behind the first front. And there you see our chance for snow squalls through the Rockies for tomorrow. You can see how fast that cold air is moving all the way through Texas by tomorrow morning. With our chance for light snow, mainly Rockies into the plains. Warming up before the cold air comes for New England and the east, with a chance of rain or snow and maybe even some ice, depending, and still hanging on to thunderstorms down in the southeast. So where will that rain and snow be? 48-hour precipitation, quite a bit of rain for the southeast, including Florida, maybe up to 1.5 inches. But a lot of the rest of this is snow, mainly, again, the Rockies and the eastern slopes of the Rockies as that cold front barrels through and we see those snow squalls. But even the mountains of Colorado, I mean, you could pick up a foot or more. The eastern Great Lakes calming down a little bit today and tomorrow. Still several inches, though, off of Lake Erie. And there's a little bit of a target area in northern New York that could get up to, say, 10 inches in the next couple of days, and also up the UP of Michigan. Surface for Sunday. So this is interesting, too. We have a low forming. That cold air is going to be moving into the northeast. And we could see quite a bit of snow for Washington, D.C. the day before the inauguration. I think the inauguration is going to be fine. They'll have some snow to clean up, and it's going to be cold. But before the inauguration, maybe some pretty good snowstorm for parts of the mid-Atlantic up into the northeast. All right, let's get into it with the GFS model this morning. Here's our low in Canada. Again, as this scoots east, that's going to open the door for the cold air to come south. We're already starting to see it into the extreme northern plains. And so that's our first area of focus. As this cold air barrels south, here are our snow squalls moving through the Colorado Rockies into the eastern slopes of the Rockies. We're starting to see some showers and thunderstorms busting out here in the mid-south, moving into the Ohio Valley. And this is rain. It does change to snow when you get further to north, but a little bit warmer before the cold blast as we move into the east. And some showers down here in the southeast. Here are some light snow, maybe some snow squalls in eastern Colorado. This gets us into 6 a.m. tomorrow. And as we go through the day tomorrow, that cold air spreading east with some snow. Still some rain in the southeast, and that cold air starting to invade Texas. This is Saturday afternoon and evening, and getting into Sunday. Here's where we start to see our storm busting out. A little bit for Kentucky, Tennessee, but especially West Virginia, Maryland, Washington, D.C., into southern Pennsylvania. And that snow starts to pick up. It's going to be heavy in Virginia, D.C., Maryland, moving into parts of New Jersey even, and of course Pennsylvania, eastern Pennsylvania. And as that low lifts a little bit to the north and moves off to the east, New England could get a pretty quick shot of some heavy snow here. But it does clear as we get into Inauguration Day. This is actually Sunday night, snowing hard in New England, and as that lifts, we start to clear. This is midnight. So Inauguration Day, what do we see? We see a lot of wind across the lakes, a lot of lake effect snow, clear skies in Washington, D.C., lots of wind, and cold. So they'll have some snow to clean up, and it's going to be frigid for the inauguration. As we get further into Monday night at midnight, you see what's happening down here in Texas. The cold air is in place. A low is forming near the Gulf. We have a little bit of rain, a little bit of ice, and a little bit of snow. Too far south for Dallas. So Waco, seeing snow. Shreveport, Louisiana. And let's go forward in time and just watch this baby go right along the Gulf Coast with rain and snow. This is Tuesday. This is Tuesday noon. This is Tuesday afternoon, night. This is late Tuesday. Look at all that ice in southern Georgia, the Florida Panhandle, Myrtle Beach, a mixture of ice and snow. And then it exits by, this is midnight Tuesday. And as we get into Wednesday, it lifts a little bit to clip the coast of North Carolina, maybe a little bit of Delaware and Maryland, and then it's out of here. And then Texas starts to warm up a little bit here by the time we get into Wednesday. So that snow right along the Gulf Coast and the ice too. So craziness. All right, as we go forward in time, you see the brief warm up for the south, and a lot of lake effect snow. And then we see another shot of cold air coming and another wave forming on the front, this time a little further north for the mid-south, so Arkansas. Nashville, heavy snow on Thursday the 21st. So what is that? Is that next week? So 6 days from now. So we're looking at maybe a double punch for the south. First one really south, and the next one mid-south, up into the Ohio Valley. And then that's lighter amounts of snow as it heads east and northeast, and another area of snow for New England. They've had some dry, or I should say, snowless years in recent winters, so maybe making up for lost time and with these couple of snowstorms. So then we get into Saturday the 25th. I want to show you something. We're getting into like really the land of uncertainty, but I'm kind of excited about this. So warming up across the plains by the 25th, but it's hanging on to the cold Midwest and certainly into the South. So that the cold's going to stay. And where I am in western Iowa, it's going to stay cool. I don't think we're getting above freezing here, or maybe close. But this is what I wanted to show you. There's my dad's birthday, northern plains into the Great Lakes, and then as we get into the 29th and the 30th, look at this. January 30th is my birthday. 6 a.m. snow. Noon, heavy snow. Afternoon, snow. Evening, snow. Midnight, snow. And then clears out the day after my birthday. So if this comes true, it could be a big snowstorm, which we haven't seen yet in Iowa, or at least not in western Iowa. And it could be a nice dump of snow for my birthday. I hope that happens. We'll keep me posted on that, being selfish. All right, 6 to 10 day outlook. Cold, really cold. 8 to 14, not as cold, but the rest of the country covered in. So we're going to have a big shot of Arctic air. Then we're going to warm up a little bit in the south. And we'll have another shot of cold air. Then we're going to warm up a little bit in the plains. And then another shot of cold air. So it's going to stay cold all the way through. This is the 30th, my birthday. And for the 6 to 10 day precipitation, really dry west and southwest. And then into the center of the country, above average perhaps for the northern plains, and certainly the southeast into the mid-Atlantic. And then 8 to 14, our fortunes change, as we showed you, that storm moving out of the Four Corners across the central plains into the Midwest, if that comes true. So we'll see. It looks like winter might finally get here just in time for the end of January. But wow, I mean, the southern snow possibility. Again, 2 models are now showing it. We'll see if they have consistency as we get closer for maybe a snow and ice where they don't get much. Pretty exciting. We'll keep you posted right here on the Weather Mic. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in.